When I was younger, I had like really bad social anxiety for a while. So I just wanted to sort of go over my story and how I got over it, obviously just in order to hopefully help other people. And I'm not necessarily giving advice to say you should do what I did, but I just want so people could possibly learn from this or figure out a way to help their own social anxiety. So when I was I had a lot of depression too when I was younger, which I am way better now. I still have my issues, but I am like 100 times better than I was when I was a teenager. And it took a lot of work. I've had to put in a lot of deliberate work and do a lot of uncomfortable things in order to improve myself. So I kind of have to start from the story from the beginning, I think, for this to really make sense. But so I feel like I used to be pretty happy basically up until I hit puberty. And I think it was because when I hit puberty, I became really, really obsessed with girls. Like I wanted a girlfriend really bad, or wanted to have sex with girls or whatever. But I was really shy and really scared of girls. And I think probably the reason was because I grew up in a household with no women. It was my dad and my brother. Both of them were kind of socially weird too, so it's like I probably just never learned how to socialize with women and was scared of them. And something happened though. I think I was 17 or 18. I smoked quite a bit of weed, marijuana, when I was in high school from about the age of like 15 to 17 or something. And I regret it. I think it was very bad for me. I would also go to parties and drink on the weekends. One of the reasons I like to drink was because I had social anxiety. I was afraid of girls. So probably part of it, I think, when I went to parties, I would drink. My anxieties would go away. It could help me talk to girls, hopefully a little bit more. But I would do this every weekend, stay up until like 4 in the morning. And then, of course, Sunday night, I couldn't go to sleep because I did that Friday and Saturday night. So then I would be miserable in school. I had to get up early. I hated it. And there's just something I wish I had done. I wish that I had not done drugs like that, and I wish that I had just played like a sport all through high school, like a team sport. I think that would have been way better for me, or if I had ran track or something, some type of physical thing, and then just made more friends and talked to more people other than like I was hanging out with sort of like the stoner sort of crowd who was drinking and smoking weed and didn't play sports and stuff. And I don't necessarily wish that I didn't have those friends, but that I'd made more friends and also played sports. But anyway, when I was about 17, I still don't know really exactly what happened, but I remember it was Halloween and I went out with my friends and we did mushrooms. And I remember it being like a horrible experience for me. I felt like my friends were like kind of making fun of me the whole time or teasing me. I don't really know if it was true or not, but I remember after that day, one of my friends, who was like one of my best friends, he basically stopped talking to me and we never hung out after that. And I still don't really know what happened. Probably a lot of it was just me. But after that, I literally had zero friends. Even like my other good friends that were still nice to me, I had so much fear. Like I thought everyone was making fun of me. I couldn't really talk or hang out with anyone. I remember one of my really good friends, and he's still a good friend of mine to this day, his brothers as well. I love this guy. I hung out with him one day, and I think the issue was that I ended up smoking weed that day. And after this thing on Halloween, I had quit smoking weed as well. I just totally quit. And I think I smoked weed this day. And again, since this anxiety, I imagined that my friends were in on this joke or this conspiracy, and they were making fun of me. And I remember he dropped me off at my house in his car, my father's house. And I remember telling him like, oh, I thought you were my friend. Like I lashed out at him. And looking back at it, he didn't do anything bad. He wasn't making fun of me. He was just hanging out with me because he liked me. But like, this is how bad my social anxiety was. and I just thought everyone was like against me. And I do remember too, I lived in a very small town where everyone knew each other. So like, this is how small the town was. There was only one middle school and one high school in the entire town, and they were connected into one school. So literally like everyone knew each other. And I wanted to leave so bad that town, but I wasn't able to do it until I was 18. I went to college. I went to California. And I thought too, like, if I could just move, that my social problems would be solved, like if I was in a different city. But man, it was not like that. Like, I had, deep kind of inner wounds and issues, and it was not that simple. It was better, but I still had a lot of anxiety problems. I still remember drinking when I was in college a few times, trying to, to try to mask that social anxiety. And when I would drink when I was younger, it was like I shouldn't have drank. I would always drink way too much. I'd end up like puking at the end of the night, or like blacking out. Like, I couldn't just drink a little bit. Like, I just kept wanting more and more to get more of that feeling. And even when I was in college, like, I still couldn't really get a girlfriend. I was still pretty terrified of girls. I did get one girlfriend. It was my first girlfriend when I was 19. But it was long distance. She lived in Chicago, and I was flying like all the way to Chicago every once in a while to go see her. And I could only go see her there for a few days, and like the plane tickets were expensive. I was spending money I didn't even have. Like, I was kind of just spending like financial aid, basically. It was kind of stupid. And their relationship ended up ending because at first it was good, but it just ended up being really hard on me because of the long distance thing. And I was still very, very depressed. I remember when I first started college, one thing I would do was this happened a lot. Like, I would be in my room at night, and I remember just crying for literally, like, it felt like it was no reason. And obviously there was a reason. It was because like I had this social anxiety, and I had problems connecting with people. So obviously, like, that's gonna make me feel bad. And I really wanted to connect with girls. I wanted a girlfriend. And I wasn't able to do that. And I wasn't able to really, I didn't know how to how to fix this problem that I had. And I remember even when I was in college, sometimes, like, if I would be in groups of people or talking to certain people, that anxiety would come back. I would have a tic sometimes, or I think I would shake. Sometimes, like, my whole head would shake when I would be in certain social situations. Like, the anxiety was there. It could be kind of bad at a lot of times. And I did make a few really good friends, though, when I was in college. A couple really good friends. And they were older people. They were people that were, I don't know, like 5, maybe 7 years older than me, but they were very good friends of mine. And I think I sort of wanted friends who were younger more, and like kind of partied a bit more, because that was more what I wanted to do. But I had trouble making friends with those sort of, I don't know, quote unquote cool kids. But looking back at it, actually the good friends that I had were probably much better for me. They were older, they were responsible, they were putting in all their time into their work, their schoolwork. But I'm getting a bit off topic. Basically, my anxiety didn't really improve at all until, I'd say, maybe not at all. I'm sure it had probably improved a little bit, but very slowly, until I was about 25. And after I broke up with the girl that I had when I was 19, the relationship, it lasted for about a year, I think. I hadn't dated anyone. I think there was one girl that I like made out with when I was drunk, like one time, and that was it. I think when I was, maybe not 25, I think more like 23. So I found out about this book. It's pretty stupid, but this book called The Game, and it's a pretty famous book now. I think it was a bestseller. But this guy, I think Neil Strauss, I think was his name, he wrote it, and it was about his experience of how he was like a nerdy guy who wasn't good with girls, and he met the guy called Mystery, that like was this weird nerdy magician dude who was like had this system, and he would like teach other guys how to get good with girls, and it was really weird shit. It was like they would plan out, you know, jokes and sort of plan out stuff to say. It was very weird. But I remember reading the book, and the book made it kind of sound like, oh, you can get any girl, or if you suck with girls, you can improve. And that was like, I remember reading that, and it gave me a lot of hope. Which, if you're like really depressed and stuff, like sometimes you just need hope. Because sometimes you have no hope because you don't know how the hell to improve your situation. Like, I didn't know how to improve my social anxiety or my dating life. I had no idea what to do. I kind of thought I was just screwed for forever, almost. You know, I remember too, I would like every semester, I would get excited because I'd be like, oh, maybe there'd be like a cute girl in this class, this new class I have, and maybe I could get a girlfriend. And I was so scared with girls, and honestly, girls would like me and I wouldn't even realize it because my self-esteem was so low. Like, there were a couple girlfriend, like female friends I had that were literally like best friends of mine. They were really amazing girls, really, really cute, like gorgeous women. And looking back at it, like both of them liked me. Like I could have dated both of them, but I was so terrified to make a move on them, like I never did. Because of my anxiety and my like low self-esteem and everything. But anyway, I read this book, and that gave me hope. And I think I searched online for like, and I found this coaching thing, and I paid for it. And I have another video talking about this stuff. Stuff's kind of weird, but I ended up paying for it, and it was like this in-person coaching where they just force you, like you go out to bars, you go out on the street, and these guys, they'll just force, like guys like me who have a lot of social anxiety, they'll force you to go up to random girls and talk to them. And again, I thought like if I could just, you know, I thought that my only problem was I was too afraid to approach the girls, and I thought if I just did this, that boom, I could get a girlfriend, my problems would be solved. It definitely was not that easy. It took years and years. You know, I'm still kind of working on it. But anyway, I paid for this thing and did that. And it was kind of cool. Like, it didn't live up to my expectations. It wasn't a magic pill. But I remember, like, I did, you know, the amount of strange girls I went up to in, like, bars and on the street was more than I had in my entire life. And I was, like, 23 years old. And I remember there was one girl that was really, really pretty. It was her 21-year-old birthday. I remember I made out with her, and it felt like amazing. Like I hadn't done that basically since the girlfriend I had, you know, like I don't know, like 4 years previous or 3 years ago or something. And after I took that thing, you know, they gave advice on how to keep practicing this stuff to get better. But I didn't do it because I was too scared. I remember I went out to a bar one night, and I was too scared. I think I went in the bar and just left and didn't talk to anybody. But then I finally found other people like me in like this forum online, and we started meeting up at the mall in San Francisco. So I actually moved to Oakland after, so I went into San Francisco to do this. But we started going there like every Saturday, and it was kind of just like, there were some other guys I met too. We would kind of just go walk around and try to find like cute girls, and we'd just help each other out. I'd be like, hey, you got to go talk to that girl. It'd tell the same thing to me. I started doing this, and this is when my confidence and my social anxiety actually started to get better. It was this. And this is kind of an extreme thing to do. You don't have to do this. Like, even if your problem is like, you know, dating or talking to women, you don't have to necessarily go up to strange girls like this. But, you know, you could do it through a more social circle type of method. But the main thing is like the only way to get over social anxiety is to socialize. Like, you have to do... Like, you have to do... Well, as you can see now, my social anxiety pretty much gone. Did make me blush a tiny bit, but not too much. Yeah, anyway, the main thing you need to do is, like, the easiest way to get over this stuff is, I forget, the one therapist I had told me there's a special name for it, but you just have to do what scares you. It's like if you have a fear of spiders, the way to get over it is like just put a bunch of spiders on your body and just sit there with it. And it's really the only thing. It sucks. It's terrifying. I remember when I took that coaching thing, I still remember the very first like girl that I went up to. It was like a group of people. I was like, my whole body was shaking. I remember they kind of gave us these weird like lines we could use, and I kind of just said all these different lines out in a row without it making much sense, and like didn't let the other people talk because I was so nervous. I remember they were giving me this really weird looks, like, this guy's really weird, like, what is he doing? And I continued to do that stuff for many years. Up until for 3 or 4 years or something, I was going out to like nightclubs, going out on the street like 3-4 times a week or something, just talking to tons of girls, making an idiot of myself because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I still had a lot of self-esteem issues that would hold me back. You know, a lot of the times I could, like, these really awesome, like really pretty girls would like me, but then I'd go on a date with them and be too afraid to make a move, you know, too afraid to kiss them, even when they really liked me and they wanted me to. And this stuff would happen to me over and over and over again. And I, you know, the way to get over it, like with the socializing, is you just have to keep trying it. You just little by little, you keep doing the things that scare you, you get better and better at it. But it's basically it. Like, if you have social anxiety, the only way to get over it really is just face your fears. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can just go in like all out. Like, say, you know, if you have massive social anxiety, you could just start out by doing like a public speaking, you know, group or course. And that would be the way to get over it the fastest, but that might be too much. That might be too scary. If you try to do something like that, you might not stick with it, or you might not show up at all. I even remember in the dating course I took, there were guys who didn't even show up. And this thing, it cost like $1,400. And I remember the coach was saying, he was like, yeah, these are people who have like really, really bad like social anxiety. He's like, you guys think you have anxiety or too scared to go up to a girl. He's like, no, the people that didn't show up are the ones with the real anxiety. But another way to do it is just instead by, like I was saying, you can just go all in like that, do the thing that scares you the most. But you can also take baby steps. So maybe the first thing you do is, like, you could, when you're walking down the street or something, maybe you just sort of look at people. Or maybe you can hang out with people one-on-one, but you're afraid to hang out with people in groups. Maybe that gives you anxiety. So something you could do is you could start hanging out with two people at once. Just do it like a little bit. Maybe it's really scary. Maybe the first time, instead of hanging out with somebody one-on-one, you hang out with 2 people and you only do it for like 5 minutes or something. You keep doing it for 5 minutes for like a week, and then you up that to 10 minutes. So my point is you know, you can just baby step it like this so it's more manageable. You have to do, you know, you have to figure out a system or something you're actually going to do, but the hard truth is like you just have to end up doing it. It's the only way. Like, maybe if you're too scared to do it, you could, you know, something you can do is hire a coach. It doesn't have to be a dating thing like I did. But maybe you hire some sort of coach who just holds you accountable and forces you to do it. Maybe one of your friends, you get them to help you. You're like, hey, just make me go to this like party or this get together this weekend that you're talking about. Just tell them like, hey, I have social anxiety. I need to get over this. Like, can you help me? Like, I'm gonna tell you this weekend, no, I don't want to go. Like, make me go. Like, help me out. Force me to do this. Maybe you give your friend, you know, some money. Give him $100 and be like, hey, don't give me this back until I go out with you and your friends and play cards this one night, like you've been inviting me to do. Maybe you're afraid to like at the grocery store to talk to the person to talk to the person at the register. Maybe you need to just start by just saying hi to that person. Whatever it is, you have to do what scares you. It's going to be very, very uncomfortable, like probably terrifying. if it's like for you what it is for me. And I know there are going to be a lot of people whose social anxiety is much, much worse than it was for me. I'm actually 36 years old now, so I'm lucky. I didn't grow up with like smartphones and social media and stuff like that, or dating apps. I'm sure that a lot of the younger people who are like in their 20s now, or like 25 or younger, that grew up with this stuff, that stuff is probably going to make, young people are going to be having like more and more social anxiety. Like the percentage of young people that have social anxiety is going to get worse. It's going to get even worse before it gets better. But having anxiety like this can ruin your life. It can cause tons of depression issues. It can make it like unbearable to live your life day by day. But like the main thing I'm saying that you have to do is you have to figure out a way to just start doing it and force yourself to do these things that scare you, that are terrifying. It's going to be so uncomfortable, but you have to do it. And in the long term, it will be completely worth it. Like, as you can see me right now, I'm filming this video out in public. Those people were there was a group of like 15 people all screaming at me. Like, yeah, I still have a natural bit of shyness and a little bit of social anxiety, but actually compared to the average person, I'd say I have way less social anxiety and shyness than the average person. And it's because I've put in so much work, and I'm still putting in work to do it. Like, I try to just kind of say hi to strangers and try to chat with the person more at the grocery store. And now I have to do this in a country where I don't understand a lot of what the people are saying still. But for me now, it's almost fun. Almost doing it in Spanish is almost more fun for me because of the fact that I know that, like, it makes me a bit more nervous, but now the nervousness is actually fun for me. Like, it's more fun to do in Spanish because it's something new. This is how much my social anxiety has improved. I mean, it's been like 13 years or something like that. I've had multiple girlfriends since then. If you put in the work and if you just do these things that scare you, you will improve. Like, I promise you. Your life will get better exponentially.